was the most terrifying day of my life, a day that transformed my love for adventure into an enduring fear of the unknown. Until that moment, I'd always been the type to brush off warnings and dive headfirst into new experiences. My friends would tease me about my recklessness, calling me daring and bold. But what none of them knew was that I harbored a secret fear, being alone in unfamiliar places. It was a fear I'd never admitted to anyone. Not until now. The day started innocuously enough. It was a sunny Friday morning, and my classmates and I were on a field trip to Woodland Forest, a sprawling expanse known for its picturesque trails and serene beauty. We were excited, snapping pictures, laughing, and soaking in the fresh air. The forest seemed harmless in the daylight, its trees swaying gently in the breeze. As we wandered deeper into the woods, I suggested we venture off the beaten path. It seemed like a good idea at the time, a chance to explore and impress my friends. Hours passed in carefree exploration, and the sunlight began to wane, painting the forest in hues of orange and gold. It wasn't until the sun dipped below the horizon that we realized we were lost. Panic set in. We were in the heart of the forest, with no clear way out. The lush greenery that had once seemed inviting now loomed over us like a suffocating shroud. Every rustle of leaves and snap of twigs sent shivers down our spines. As dusk turned to night, the forest transformed into a place of shadows and whispers. We huddled together, trying to stay calm, but the silence was oppressive. Suddenly, a piercing scream echoed through the trees. We spun around, our eyes darting in every direction, but there was nothing there. Just as we began to rationalize the sound, a dark figure darted between the trees. It was too fast to be an animal. Panic turned to terror. In the chaos, my friend Jason got separated from the group. We heard his frantic cries for help and ran toward the sound, but when we reached the spot, he was gone. There was no sign of him, no footprints, no torn branches, nothing. The terror intensified. Something or someone was stalking us. One by one, my friends disappeared. Each time, it happened so fast that there was no chance to react. It was as if the forest itself was swallowing them whole. Soon, only Emily and I remained. We clung to each other, trembling as the oppressive darkness closed in around us. The sound of footsteps grew louder, circling us like a predator stalking its prey. Then it happened. Emily tripped over a hidden root, falling hard onto the forest floor. She cried out in pain, clutching her leg. She couldn't stand. The sound of approaching footsteps sent a chill down my spine. We were utterly vulnerable. Desperate to find help, I spotted a faint light in the distance and half-carried, half-dragged Emily toward it. The light led us to an old, abandoned ranger station. The building was decrepit, its windows shattered, and its walls covered in graffiti. Inside, the air was thick with dust and decay. I searched for anything that could help us, and stumbled upon a desk drawer filled with disturbing items, maps of the forest marked with strange symbols, articles about missing hikers, and photographs of people who eerily resembled my missing friends. A chill ran down my spine as I realized this wasn't the first time someone had vanished in Woodland Forest. Whoever or whatever was out there had been doing this for years. My hands trembled as I picked up an old walkie-talkie from the desk. Miraculously, it still worked. I managed to get a signal and relay our location to someone on the other end. They promised help was on the way, but I knew it might take time. Emily was in no condition to move, and the ranger station offered the only semblance of safety. I found a heavy flashlight and a rusty old axe and decided to barricade the door. The night stretched on, each minute feeling like an eternity. Then, the footsteps returned, slow and deliberate. They circled the building, stopping just outside the door. The banging started suddenly, loud and violent. The door rattled on its hinges as something or someone tried to force its way in. My heart raced as I gripped the axe, sweat dripping down my face. Emily held the flashlight, her hands shaking uncontrollably. The door began to splinter, and then it burst open. A man stood there, his face obscured by a hood. His movements were erratic, almost inhuman. Without thinking, I swung the axe with all my strength, catching him off guard. He stumbled back, but it wasn't enough to stop him. Emily struck him with the flashlight, and together we managed to knock him unconscious. As the man crumpled to the floor, we heard the distant wail of sirens. Help had finally arrived. Moments later, the authorities burst into the ranger station, guns drawn. The man was taken into custody, and Emily and I were escorted to safety. But the ordeal left deep scars. Woodland Forest, once a place of beauty, had become a haunting reminder of the darkness that can lurk beneath the surface. My confidence was shattered, replaced by a cautious respect for the unknown. And as for the forest, it remains closed to the public. But those who live nearby still whisper of strange occurrences. They say that on quiet nights, you can hear the faint echoes of the lost, their voices carried on the wind, forever trapped in the shadows of the forest.